Everybody ready to say goodbye to our solar system? To our galaxy. Here we go.
Hello and welcome to our movie review of Interstellar. Before we begin, if you haven't watched Interstellar yet, I highly recommend that you pause the video here and go watch Interstellar first, since we will have some pretty big spoilers throughout this review. Interstellar begins with a background of an Earth that is no longer able to sustain crops caused by a global blight, a crop disease of cataclysmic proportions that wiped out Earth's food sources, such as wheat, potatoes, and likely soybeans. To add even more logs to the already ravaging fire, a second dust bowl is also taking place. The only crops left on the planet are okra and corn, with okra eventually being wiped out as well, and corn being not too far behind. As a result, humanity must leave Earth and find another planet that can sustain human life. Going into the story, Cooper, the main protagonist, is a former NASA pilot in the story where his daughter, Murph, complains about a ghost in her room who is dropping books, which Cooper first dismisses. However, one day, when a dust storm forces Cooper and his family to return home from a baseball game, Cooper observes the dust in Murph's room and realizes that it's binary code. The binary code reveals coordinates, and these coordinates eventually lead to a secret NASA bunker where Cooper meets his former boss Dr. Brand and his daughter Amelia. Dr. Brand reveals that the Earth can no longer sustain humanity for long, and it's only a matter of time before the last crops of corn collapse and humanity runs out of viable food sources. Dr. Brand reveals two plans, a favorable Plan A and a daunting Plan B. Plan A is that the bunker is actually a centrifuge that is capable of becoming a space station, saving a significant number of people. If they cannot make this space station work, they must resort to Plan B, creating a new colony of humans with human eggs stored on a spaceship. In order to realize these plans, Cooper must first find a habitable planet in another galaxy that is accessible through a wormhole put by higher dimensional beings. After going through the wormhole, they explore 3 planets from which beacons set by previous astronauts are emitting signals. The first planet turns out to be a planet covered by oceans, which Cooper and his crew get trapped after being rocked by a massive wave, where one of their crew members, Doyle, drowns after getting caught in the wave due to Amelia's ignorance to the danger of the situation. The same wave fills the probe's engines with water, which forces them to wait, and they return to their interplanetary spacecraft Endurance in an hour, finding that 23 years have passed aboard due to the time dilation caused by the planet's proximity to Gargantua, a humongous black hole. On the second planet, the astronaut is still alive in cryosleep, and when he's woken up, it turns out that he faked the beacon so that the NASA astronauts would save him and he could get back to Earth. The astronaut dies when he fails to hijack the Endurance and blows up. Reboarding the Endurance, Cooper finds out that there's not enough fuel and that only one person can continue the mission. In a valiant attempt to redeem all of the aforementioned shortcomings and complete the mission, Cooper uses the gravity of Gargantua to propel Endurance to the final planet. At the final moment, he bravely detaches from the ship and falls into the black hole, reducing the weight of the Endurance so that Amelia can reach the final planet and safely complete the mission. Cooper survives falling into the black hole and finds himself inside a 5-dimensional tesseract that is composed of past moments in time from inside Murph's bedroom. From inside this higher dimension, Cooper begins to send messages to Murph using gravity, revealing that he was this aforementioned ghost. This is confirmed when Murph goes back home and finds that Cooper's old wristwatch seconds hand is moving irregularly. She quickly realizes that the movement is a message in Morse codes and creates a connection between the watch and her father, confirming that Cooper is the ghost. Realizing the ghost is Cooper, Murph decodes the information that Cooper is feeding her about the black hole's singularity. This allows her to solve Brand's gravity equation, and his mission and purpose is now completed. Cooper is ejected from the Tesseract by the future beings who place him back near the wormhole outside Saturn. Cooper is luckily picked up by a ranger and is taken to a cylindrical space station to reunite with Murph. Using the gravity equation, Murph orchestrated humanity's exodus from Earth and is now nearing the end of her life due to the extreme time dilation around Gargantua. Cooper has aged only a few years when he sees Murph again, who is elderly in her last moments, who advises him to seek out Amelia. Cooper agrees and sets off on a journey again. Meanwhile, on the mission's final planet, we see that Amelia is setting up a new colony for future humans to inhabit. She removes her helmet and breathes air, showing that the planet is capable of supporting human life, prompting the credits of the movie. Seeing how blight already exists and threatens our staple crops, the situation posed in Interstellar is plausible. With a constantly growing population, an advanced or human-engineered blight may be powerful enough to cause mass famine and death as seen in the movie. According to Science Direct, an existing fungal blight, Magnaportha, more commonly known as rice blast, already destroys 30% of the world's rice harvest. Because the fungus continues to evolve around every 2 years, it is impossible to eradicate and continues to ravage rice crops. Similarly to the movie, infected crops like rice are already burned in an attempt to prevent the spread of the fungus. As of now, the only reason why we haven't seen a situation similar to Interstellar is because blight strikes of major crops haven't occurred at the same time, and they are separated by a few years. With this being the case, if just 2 staple crops were to fail at the same time, the following disaster would cause famine, instability, and a situation that may mirror what is depicted in Interstellar. Although the other parts of the film do have an unrealistic Hollywood magic attached to them, the agricultural aspect of this movie is unbelievably plausible. On the other hand, the gravitational anomalies seen in the movie seem to be slightly less believable. Although gravitational anomalies do exist, NASA claims they are far more predictable and much less sentient compared to the anomalies seen in Interstellar. Real gravitational anomalies are caused by uneven surface of the Earth. Also, sometime in the future, it may be possible that we gain the knowledge to comprehend black holes, but BBC Earth claims black holes are a topic of which all information is purely speculation and we truly know nothing about them. The currently accepted theory assumes that a human going into a black hole would be warped by gravity and probably die and definitely never escape. Interstellar does have some of the warping of physical matter and time, but that's about it. So whilst a timeline-altering astronaut trapped in an impossible situation makes for a good movie material, it is not all that realistic as far as humanity can currently prove. Adding even more to the movie's credibility, NASA claims that time travel is in fact possible. Considering that they make use of the theory of relativity from Albert Einstein's writings in 1915, it's certain that the scriptwriters did their homework. They even include a reference to a study done with 2 watches, one in a speeding jet and a controlled variable functioning normally on the ground. The reference comes when Cooper gives his daughter Murph a watch and tells her that they can see how much time has passed when he returns. Einstein does also consider wormholes to circumvent long journeys through space, which are used by Cooper and his crew to quickly travel to the new and possibly habitable planets. Unfortunately, wormholes are unstable and unpredictable, as are many proposed theories. All that being said, although NASA and Einstein claim time travel is possible, it is only in the sense that time can pass slower while moving at a higher speed or when warped by the immense gravity of a black hole. Therefore, the idea that Coop was able to, in effect, travel back in time by influencing books to fall in Murph's room is positively preposterous. Einstein insists that nothing can go backward in time. Much like the fantastical Hollywood time travel aspect, cryogenically freezing humans is also currently impossible to do in the method posed by the movie. Cooper and his group lay down for a long nap and just woke up after staying alive the whole time. As of now, the process is extremely detrimental and frankly lethal to the subject, as according to the Southern Cryonics, a company that is experimenting with freezing humans. The process creates glass in cells to slow decay. They also only perform the process on recently deceased people as it would kill a live person. The only aim of freezing a person now is hoping that the people can be later unfrozen and cured of their ailments, not for hypersleep during a long space flight. Having the characters die from their own sleeping pods would be quite an unsatisfying end, so presuming hypersleep technology advanced in the world of the film, it could be possible to extend a human's life. All in all, the credibility of Interstellar is mostly based on science and theories, and the point of science is literally to keep proving previous theories and ideas wrong. So much of the science behind Interstellar is plausible, but cannot be verified with the technology of today. Interstellar is a mesmerizing and captivating experience. This is the primary reason why it's known as one of, if not the greatest sci-fi movie of all time. The planets are shown in perfect detail in the scene where Cooper enters the black hole and tries reaching out to his past self by knocking over the books, communicating "stay" in Morse code to prevent himself from ever leaving Earth, was honestly an emotional moment and nearly made us tear up. The soundtrack designed by Hans Zimmer is the cherry on top. Every note hits the heart and truly makes us wonder about what is beyond our solar system, beyond our galaxy, and how minuscule we are compared to the entire universe. The storytelling and cinematography of the film is absolutely unbelievable. Christopher Nolan is already renowned for being one of the best directors in movie history, and Interstellar is another masterpiece created by him. It's a story of the tenacity of humans to survive. It's a story of a couple astronauts tasked with saving the world, but more importantly, it's a story of the relationship between a father and his daughter, and how they both managed to work together and save the world while literally being galaxies apart. On the other hand, there were times in the movie where we were getting pretty bored. There were periods of time where it just felt like the movie was being dragged on for too long. Although Christopher Nolan is known for his attention to detail and being skilled at crafting stories, the intro wore off, and at a certain point it just felt too long and boring. The film is literally called Interstellar, but so much of it is focused on Earth. There are times, like from when the astronauts take off from space to right before entering the first planet, that it just becomes lethargic to watch the film. At times, it's much too complicated and too long where the movie fails to become enjoyable, but other than periods of time of relative boredom, Interstellar is a great movie.